when we arrived, me and my sisters, at the winery in the middle of 2000, we said, probably we have to communicate more the family. We want to communicate our family. And it's the first reason why we decided to, not to do a change, but maybe a natural evolution from Falesco to Famiglia Cotarella. Because, yes, we wanted to communicate the family, but also all of our projects. So actually, when we talk about Famiglia Cotarella, we talk about a hat. And under this hat, you have all of our projects. So you have wine, of course, the core business, but you have the social project, so the foundation, the farm, and the Academy Intrecci for the hospitality. So Famiglia Cotarella is a world. It's our world with our projects.
Welcome to another episode of On the Road Edition, hosted by Stevie Kim. Each week, Stevie travels to incredible wine destinations, interviewing some of the Italian wine scene's most interesting personalities, talking about wines, the foods, as well as the incredible travel destinations.
Hello, my name's Stevie Kim, and welcome to Italian Wine Podcast On the Road Edition. And that means Mama Jumbo Shrimp, our YouTube channel. Wine Travel with moi, Stevie Kim. And with us today, we have Enrica Cotarella. Ciao, Enrica.
Ciao. Hello, everyone.
So, Enrica, first of all, where are we? This thing called Cotarella, family, Falesco. Where are we exactly?
We are located between Umbria and Lazio region in the middle of Italy. In reality, we are from Umbria. My family is from Umbria. But at the time, my uncle and my father decided to invest in Lazio region. And so at first, they created the first winery in Montefiascone in the land of the Est around the end of 70s. And then they decided to invest here in Umbria in 1999. So we are in the new winery where we had our first harvest in 2005. And so we are in Umbria, but in front of us we have the Tiber River. So on the other side of the river, we have Lazio region.
So officially, this is still Umbria.
Yes.
But do you also have the winery in Lazio?
Of course, yes. We have the historical winery in Lazio region where we produce the Estes Test of Montefiascone, so Poggio dei Gelsi, which is our historical label. We started the production of the Estes Test with the Poggio dei Gelsi in 1989. And so we produce the Poggio dei Gelsi there, and the rest of our production is here. So if we have grapes from Umbria or from Lazio region, we produce all of our wines here.
So tell me, for someone who is less familiar with Falesco or Cotarella, of course, you know, your father and your uncle, Renzo and Riccardo Cotarella, they're part of Italian wine history, right? They belong in the history books. But those who are less familiar, what are the 5 things that they must know about the Cotarella family and wine business?
It's a great question. So probably that we are a family winery. So we are the 3rd generation in the wine business. Actually, we are 3 sisters, everybody together here at the winery with a lot of passion and a lot.
You're not really sisters, right?
No. But they're like sisters. In reality,
everybody thinks you're sisters, but you're not actually sisters, technically.
Exactly.
Okay. So tell them the 3 sisters who they are.
So we are in reality 2 sisters. So Renzo's daughter, me and Marta. And then there is Dominga, and she's Riccardo's daughter. But in reality, we grew up together in the same house with 2 mothers and 2 fathers and our grandmother. So I remember that we had the same bedroom all together, me, Marta and Dominga, and our grandmother, Grazia. And so we are, like 3 sisters. That's the same.
You all work in the company, right? In the family business. Yeah. How are the roles divided? Who does what?
So Marta, she's the CEO of the family. Dominga is, she follows all the commercial part and marketing, and she follows, in reality, all of our projects. And then there is me, that is marketing and communication and hospitality.
Okay, so getting back to 5 things.
Yes, 5 things. So 3 generations in the wine business, of course. That we are located in 3 different territories. So we are in Umbria region, in Lazio region, but also in Tuscany, in Montalcino. Then that me and my sisters, we use the wine like an instrument to do something more than the past. So we created a lot of different projects. So the wine is our core business, but also we have projects in social projects and the Academy for Hospitality. Then we produce an indigenous variety from Lazio called Rocchetto. And then we are most of all famous for the production of Merlot.
Okay.
It was a great challenge, a big challenge for the past.
So now we can talk. We've spoken a little bit about the history and the family. Let's talk a little bit about the wines, the flagship wine of your family. Give me, first of all, an overview of how many wines, how many labels.
So we produce, in reality, a lot of different labels, but we decided to divide the production. So we have the everyday wines, and we have the Vitiano label, Tellus label, or Poggio dei Gelsi, that is the historical label. Then we have the second cruise, like Sodale and Trent'anni, Soente, or Verdeluce. And then we have our selections, Montiano, Marciliano, De Brunello. So actually we talk about Tenuta Marciliano, so Marciliano estate for the Umbrian production, the Montiano estate for Lazio production, and then we have Le Macioche for Tuscany production. So actually, probably we have around 10, 12 different labels.
So when we're thinking about Falesco or Famiglia Cotarella, what is the flagship wine?
The flagship wine is, of course, Montiano. Montiano is our iconic wine and was a big challenge for the past because we have this beautiful story regarding my uncle Riccardo. And when he decided to produce a Merlot here in Lazio region, everybody thought that he was totally out of mind because he decided to do the studies in Lazio region, in the land of the Est, so a land usually vocated for the production of wine. But you know, Stevie, that is a lover of Merlot. A great lover of Merlot.
Cotarella, for those of you who are less familiar, he does many things, but he is also known as the King of Merlot. That's his nickname. Yeah, kidding, right? So
That's, of course. And so he did around 10 years of studies around Merlot in Lazio region between the first years of 80s and the first years of 90s. And then in 1993, we had our first vintage of Montiano. And Montiano represents the story of the family and the courage of the old generation. So my uncle's courage. And now that is Pierpaolo Dominga's husband. And you know that he is the enologist actually here at the winery. So he follows all of our products. And
and then some.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
So explain to us this evolution, because it was Falesco originally, the name of the winery, and now it's Famiglia Cotarella. Why? Why did you change the name?
When my father and my uncle started in Lazio region, probably they didn't know that in the future, Famiglia Cotarella, it could be a big winery, an important winery, not only here in Lazio region, but maybe all over the world. So at first, they decided to create a small winery called Falesco from the Falisci. The Falisci were the old citizens of Montefiascone.
Aha.
Okay?
Hence the name Falesco.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
And then when we arrived, me and my sisters, at the winery in the middle of 2000, we said, probably we have to communicate more the family. We want to communicate our family. And it's the first reason why we decided to, not to do a change, but maybe a natural evolution from Falesco to Famiglia Cotarella. because, yes, we wanted to communicate the family, but also all of our projects. So actually, when we talk about Famiglia Cotarella, we talk about a hat. And under this hat, you have all of our projects. So you have wine, of course, the core business, but you have the social project, so the foundation, the farm, and the academy Intrecci for the hospitality. So Famiglia Cotarella is a world. It's our world with our projects.
So, of course, you're famous for Montiano, Merlot, but tell us a little bit about this native grape variety, which is called Rosetto.
Yes, the Rosetto too was an important challenge for the time because it's an indigenous and historical variety from Lazio region, most of all around the Bolsena Lake, that is the volcanic lake that we have here in Lazio region, very close to Viterbo and to Rome. And at that time, usually people, the producers, used the Rosetto just for the production of the Estes test, so the appellation that
Is
we
it
have.
Rosetto? Like,
So,
oh, Rosetto.
in the past, we can call this variety Rossetto, Rosetto, or Rosciola.
To make things a little bit more complicated.
Yes, of course. But now we have to call it Rosetto.
Oh,
Yeah.
early.
Yeah.
Rosetto, like lipstick.
Lipstick,
Right?
yes.
Because in Italian, Rosetto means lipstick.
Yeah. But also the name Rossetto in reality is from the color of the peel, because at the end of maturation, the Rossetto is leather red. So it's the reason why we call it Rossetto. Rossetto means like, yes, leather red. Yes. And so it's our indigenous variety, and we did around 20 years of studies thanks to the collaboration with the University of Agronomic and Viticultural and Enology in Viterbo. And now we are the only winery which produces this variety 100%. So in the past, we started with the Poggio di Gelsi at first, so with the blend Trebbiano, Malvasia, and Rossetto. And then at the end of 90s, exactly in 1998, we started the production of Ferentano. That is our selection of Rossetto, and that is the most important white wine we produce with Montiano. And actually, we produce also a traditional method. It's a small production that we have, and then a dessert wine. So we can produce everything with our Rossetto, but it's not easy to produce Rossetto because it has a strong and hard skin. So you need to do the cryomaceration, so dry ice on skin to extract all the properties from the skin to the juice. And so it's not very easy, but it's very, it has a great potential.
But what in terms of on your palate, right? What's the difference in terms of taste? What is it similar to? Which grape is it similar to, and how is it different?
So
Wine.
this variety is from the Trebbiano's family that is very common here in that area between Lazio and Umbria. It could be quite similar to a Chardonnay, but I think that like all the indigenous is very unique. So probably the Rossetto in the glass as hints like almond, pineapple, peach, so exotic fruits. At the same time, it's very savory because we are in a volcanic soil. So this expression of minerality, savory, is very dominant inside this kind of wine in Ferentano, but also in the other kind of wine we produce, Rossetto 100%.
Which one is like, you have so many wines. How many wines do you have in total?
In total, probably,
Within 20, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So which one is your favorite right now in a hot day, very hot outside? Let's lower down here. It's nice and cool.
But outside,
But what is your favorite wine?
it's not
Is it
easy.
there?
It's not easy, but probably in the summer, of course, Sorella. Sisters, yes, it's our Rosé 100%, Rosé Merlot 100%. So it's the female part of Merlot.
Okay.
And so during the years with Marta and Dominga, we did more studies around Merlot. So we had an evolution in terms of style with Montiano, but at the same time, we decided to produce a Rosé Merlot 100%, that is Sorelle. And we started with the vintage 2019. That was maybe a great vintage quite similar to just
Yeah.
yes. And so a 90% Merlot in reality and a 10% of Aleatico. That is the other indigenous variety that we have in Lazio. And, it's a summer wine. It's very ephemeral with a great acidity. But at the same time, it has the hints of Merlot, so the balsamic, a little bit of balsamic part, and the sweetness of the Aleatico. So strawberries and roses. It's a summer wine.
Yes, summer wine.
Yeah.
Poolside.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of
Patio wine.
yes, yeah, the beach.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, in your ecosystem of Famiglia Cotarella, you also have this school,
Yeah.
right? It's a training for future, I would say, future hospitality, right? Personnel, and it's called Intrecci. So tell us a little bit about that.
So Intrecci was another big challenge because at the time was
Tell us what it is, first of all, Intrecci. What is it?
Intrecci is an academy for food and beverage manager, or better, it's an academy for the hospitality manager. So it's like a campus, it's like a sort of university of hospitality. So we have the opportunity to host every year between 20 and 25 students, and the age is between 19 years old and 30 years old. And so we have these students, and they decided to do, this academy to improve their knowledges around the world of the hospitality, because the hospitality is a big world. So it's wine, it's food, but it is at the same time psychology. And so it's a lot of things together. And so Dominga had the idea, because she follows the markets here in Italy, but all over the world.
It's also full of ideas.
Yes, always.
Now a lot of vegetables.
Yes, exactly. Now, yes. Yes. And I remember it was around 2014 maybe. And she came back home and she said to me and Marta, sisters, I want to create an academy for the hospitality. And, at first, me and Marta, we didn't understand really what she wanted to do. But she was very, convinced about this idea. And so in 2017, we created Intrecci with the first 14 students. So the first year, we had just 14 students. Then during the years 2025. And so they stay with us for 6 months. And then for the other 6 months, they go everywhere all over the world doing stage in Michelin star restaurants or important hotels. But the name Intrecci is very funny because Intrecci is in 3C. So the three Cotarella sisters.
Well, I never would have gotten that.
Yeah. So the 3C, the three sisters, but the 3C of our values. So courage, curiosity, and culture is the reason why we decided to call the academy Intrecci.
So once they graduate, first of all, are they more 19 or more 30?
More 19.
More 19.
Yeah.
It's a younger generation.
Most of all between 19 and 23, 24.
Okay. Once they graduate, once they've finished the course, what kind of jobs do they go to? Like, what do they become?
So they can go to the Michelin star restaurants or gourmet restaurants all over the world doing, the commis or the sommelier or the wine manager or the hospitality manager. But also they can do events. So it's an hospitality on 360 degrees. So, and they study hospitality. Of course, they study wine. That is the center, of course, of the training. But they have the opportunity to express, lots of different knowledges. And they can explore other types. Yes, so psychology, theater, marketing, and communication. They study 3 different languages like Spanish, English, and French. They had the opportunity to do the second level of the WSET. So the agronomic part, so food, wine pairing with food and wine. So it's an important project, and it's not easy because to stay in
And
Castello.
then always in this like ecosystem, you also have a foundation.
Yeah.
What is that all about?
So the foundation is an important project. At first, in reality, we created in 2018 the farm, the Tellus farm, because Dominga's son, Riccardo, in the past had a problem with a rheumatic disease. And so at the time, Dominga says that a problem could be a great challenge, a great chance to do, something different. And when Riccardo had this problem, she decided to create this beautiful farm for kids and families. So we work every day, most of all between April and October, with schools and kids. We do a lot of different activities. We have the animals there. We do a lot of libraries. We have vegetables and vines. It is a very beautiful project. Then in 2021, thanks to Riccardo, always, we decided to create the foundation. And the foundation has the mission to help the new generation in general, but not only the new generation, that is our focus in general. If you think about the academy, if you think about the farm, if you think about the foundation, so the new generations are our focus. But at the same time, we want to help families and give to the young generation and family the instrument and the courage to have a new opportunity of life. Because usually, thanks to the foundation, we work with people with eating disorders. So we are not doctors, of course, because we are not doctors, but we want to give, thanks to the help of doctors, a new opportunity to the new generation.
Okay. So, we spoke about rossetto, but there's another word that is very curious. Tuscia. What is tuscia?
So it's a term that personally I love, because usually people says, oh, you are in the middle between Umbria and Lazio. No, we are on Tuscia. The Tuscia is the old land of the Etruscans. So between Orvieto and the Bolsena Lake. So in the
that
middle,
entire part is Tuscia.
yeah, we are in the high part of Tuscia here. That is the land of the Etruscans.
So what does Tuscia include?
So we are between Umbria, Lazio, and Tuscany. So we are between Orvieto and Grosseto.
But Orvieto is not Tuscia.
Orvieto is not Tuscia in reality, because people think that Orvieto, of course, is in Umbria. But if you think about Tuscia, you think about the north of Lazio. But in the past, in reality, the Tuscia was the land of the Etruscans. So you are Umbria, Lazio, and Tuscany. We are in this little piece of Umbria. On that side, you have Lazio. On the other side, you have Tuscany. And this is the old land of the Etruscans.
So Tuscia is in between Tuscany, Umbria, and Lazio. So you had wineries in Lazio and Umbria. Then you had to go to Tuscany to make that complete triangle of Tuscia. What are you doing in Tuscany?
So, yes, in Tuscany, we have a beautiful and small property in Montalcino called Le Macioche.
What does that mean?
Le Macioche is the name of strawberry roots. So in Montalcino, people usually call this kind of roots La Macioca. So the hill that we have in front of the property is very deep of strawberry roots. And so the old property decided to call, yes,
Le Macioche.
Le Macioche for this reason, yes.
Okay, so you went to Tuscany.
Yes, in 2017. And so we bought this beautiful property. Is
very busy in 2017.
Yes, because we had the academy, then the evolution of the brand from Falesco to Famiglia Cotarella, then Le Macioche.
Right.
Was an important year.
Yeah, very busy.
Busy year, yes. And so it's a small property, is another approach, respect here between Umbria and Lazio, because there we have in total 7 hectares, 3 hectares and a half of Sangiovese Grosso for the production of Brunello and Reserve, so the regular one and the Reserve, and with the biological production. But it's a special place. I'm personally, but my sister too, we are totally fall in love with this place. It's magical. And it's southeast of Montalcino. So we are between Montalcino and the Sant'Antimo Bay. And it's a very lucky and special place in Montalcino. Yeah.
Okay, so before we close, I'm going to ask you to take one wine from each region of your family. So one from Umbria, one from Tuscany, and one from Lazio, and pair it with the perfect food. Okay. Where would you like to start?
Let's start with Lazio region.
Right. And don't tell me carbonara.
No. So let's start with Lazio region and with our Montiano. Of course, is our iconic wine. And maybe the perfect pairing of Montiano is Roman meatballs and coda alla vaccinara. So regional. I don't know, you say tonella vaccinara?
Aiutaci. Coda alla vaccinara? Oxtail. Okay. And moving on to Umbria.
To Umbria, probably our Verde Luce. That is the only white wine we produce in Umbria. And with our umbrichelli from Umbria.
What is umbrichelli?
Umbrichelli is a typical kind of pasta from Umbria. It's quite similar to peachy. That's the same. So we use just flour and water, a little bit of salt. So it's quite similar.
Any type of sauce?
Tomato sauce.
Any kind of sauce.
Yes, umbrichelli.
And finally, Tuscany.
Tuscany, we have our Brunello di Montalcino, so Brunello Le Macioche, pairing to the Fiorentina.
Sometimes the classic is the best.
Yes,
right?
Always.
All right. Is there anything you'd like to say to our audience before we close?
Oh, we have a lot of things to say in reality, but I think that
you'll have to just come and visit.
Of course, you can come whenever you want. We are here to host you between Umbria and Lazio, but also in Tuscany, where we have a beautiful country house, a guest house, and the new winery. So you are welcome whenever you want.
Okay, and that's a wrap. Chin Chin with Italian Wine People, and today it was with Enrica Cotarella. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you. Ciao.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of On the Road Edition, hosted by Stevie Kim. Join her again next week for more interesting content on the Italian wine scene. You can also find us at ItalianWinePodcast.com or wherever you get your pods. You can check out our YouTube channel, Mama Jumbo Shrimp, to watch these interviews and the footage captured at each location. Chin Chin!